Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another tier list video. You guys seem to like my last one, which is pretty funny because it's literally just a shit post. Like literally I was ranking League of Legends champ shits, so you know you love that. This one is going to be about physiques. We're talking strength, we're talking aesthetics, we're talking all of it combined into one. I'm going to be a little bit biased myself because it's how I sort of want to look. Anyway, let's get right into this list. Honorable mentions. There's going to be a few of them because there's a lot of physiques in here that are admirable, something I look up to, gym motivation, if you will. You got Uri. Uri, really girthy, a lot of girth to him, a lot of meat packed onto his body. He's got that hair, almost like a dad bod. He's definitely in the higher body fat percentage. He's not necessarily diced, shredded, cut to the bone, if you will. Definitely a good baseline to get this list started. Next up, we're gonna go with Olaf. Olaf, there's a lot to say about this guy, but mainly the lower body. His lower body isn't too recognizable in his base skin, but when it skins like Butcher, it really brings out the quad definition and separation. Definitely something I'd stare at for hours on end before a leg session to really get me in the mood. I'd look at this picture before I'd fall asleep the night before I hit a leg day. So I have dreams about envisioning the pump, the mind-muscle connection, and in-depth overall. Next one, I feel like we can do with one more honorable mention. This one is a tough one, but I believe I'm gonna go with Tarek. Tarek, he's sort of a poster boy for like male physiques. I feel like I've caught myself once like admiring him while loading into like I'm in champ select. We load in. I see someone's playing Tarek. I do gaze at him for a good while. I do appreciate his physique. Look him up and down. Amazing abs. Good separation. Good definition. And yeah, I think that's gonna round out our honorable mentions. Believe it or not, for the fifth place spot, I am gonna drop Pantheon. I know, Pantheon. Pantheon's this like amazing dude, chiseled, looks like he's sculpted by God himself. But I believe he doesn't have any like accentuating. I don't know. So like he doesn't have any dominant features. So like his arms aren't like crazy big like some of the later ones up here. He has a very round, filled out physique. Yeah, alright. For some reason I'm stumbling on Panther a bit. Maybe I'm getting a bit flustered looking at all these sweaty men. Anyway, on to fourth. And in fourth, I believe I had Scion. He's like Pantheon, but like bigger. So he's packing on that extra mass. Definitely more of like a powerlifter physique almost. I could definitely see him up on World's Strongest Man standing next to Eddie Hall. Has an extra 4 foot over Eddie Hall, but Eddie Hall's kind of a demon, so I could see him rival him. Give him his money's worth. Big legs, big stompy legs. As Tyler once said, look at the absolute size of this guy, absolute unit. If it can make Tyler 1 drool, I'm pretty sure it makes like 99% of the human population drool just staring at him. Even though he doesn't really have like an aesthetic face, his body is definitely enough to get him to a high place on this list. Number three, believe it or not, upon reviewing all these characters, I did actually go with Volibear. It may not look like it, but Volibear, at least in its splash art, is absolutely jacked to the brim. He is ridiculous. I can't believe the absolute girth and size of this behemoth. Arms, huge. Snatch waist, tapers down. Ridiculous overall, ridiculous. The lightning aesthetic is a good compliment because, showing off the physique is all about the lightning tricks, down lighting. I believe lightning definitely carries over very well for the old bear. Rework did him wonders. It's like a transformation, 315 pounds, 140 kilos, shredding down, around the 100 kilo mark. Insane, ridiculous. Number two, we got Braum, absolute mad lad, topped out the last list. Just a guy I want to look like. He's just a dude you admire in all his skins, flawless across the board. There's just so much to say about this guy. If there was a guy I want to look like that is on this list, it would actually be number 1, but this guy would be number 2, which is why he is in number 2. Obviously, because that's just obvious. Like, it's just so obvious. Anyway, moving on. Drum roll. Topping out the list is Set. We saw this coming. Pool party Set. Daddy, hunk of a man. Attracts both male and females. Got me drooling. I'm actually dehydrated right now from how much drool I have that's been pouring out of my mouth from Set. Having comfortability in your sexuality is being able to admire people of your own gender, like Set. Because goddamn, is that a hunk of a man? The way his head's tilted up. I'm sorry, I'm talking about his physique. I forgot. But yeah, big arms, big delts, big nip. Fuck. He's another thing I want to mention is Orn. Orn kind of sleeper. I'm sure a lot of people don't realize, but like, actually, you know what? Honorable mentions. I'm gonna talk about him a little bit. His arms are ridiculously freaky. Like, he has the best arms on this entire list. Obviously, because he's like a dwarf. So, well, he's not actually a dwarf, but he's like a dwarf kind of dude. You know, he's like the dwarf god. So he's kind of built like a dwarf. And those dudes always swinging hammers. Always swinging hammers. Might have to implement that in my own training. Might have to become a blacksmith because the arms this dude carries around is out of this world. Absolute peak stuff. Phil Heath arms right there. All right, now I'm gonna move on to the contenders and briefly talk about why some of them didn't make it. Mundo, jacked, peeled, does abuse steroids, you know, just didn't make it unfortunately. Aatrox, prime motivator for the gym, but his physique just isn't up there with the rest. Silas, definitely good all round, but doesn't carry that much size. More of an e-boy physique. Same with Viego, Kane, and Lee Sin. And lastly for Gragas, his belly is just wham. Physique goals. He physique goals. Gragas, physique goals. Anyway, thank you for coming out to this list. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you would change anything about this list, make sure to comment below. Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen.